Numerous civilians, including men, women, children, government officials, activists, secular intellectuals and clerics have been victims of terrorism, or violence against non-combatants, over the course of modern Iranian history. Several Iranian prime ministers, ministers were assassinated by militant groups during the 20th century. Some notable victims are Prime Ministers Mohammad Javad Baronar, Shapur Bakhtar, Amir Abbas Hoveyda, Abdul Hossein Hajir and Haj Ali Razmara, President Muhammad Ali Rajari, Head of Judiciary Mohammad Beheshti, Chief Commander of the Army Ali Sayad Shirazi, and Minister of Labour Daruish Faruha. Cinema Rex Fire and 1998 serial murders of dissident intellectuals are among most notable acts of terrorism in Iran. There was a handful of Iranians among the thousands of victims of September 11, 2001 attacks. Iranian Behnaz Mozakkar was among the victims of the 7th of July 2005 London bombings. Attacks on Iranians. Assassinations in Qajar era. Shah Muhammad Khan Qajar was assassinated in 1797 in the city of Susa, the capital of Karabakh Khanate, after about 16 years in power. While Muhammad Khan Qajar's assassination might be called part of the ancient practice of palace intrigue, or motivated simply fear or revenge, the May 1, 1896 killing of Shah Nasser al-Din Shah Qajar conforms more closely to the modern phenomenon of terrorism as a tool of a political movement. Nasser al-Din was shot and killed by Mirza Reza Kermana, a follower of Jamal al-Din al-Afghani, an early promoter of modern pan-Islamism. Al-Afghani is reported to have said of the assassination, "Surely it was a good deed to kill this bloodthirsty tyrant." Fedayani Islam was an Islamic fundamentalist secret society founded in Iran in 1946. By a charismatic theology student named Nawab Safavi. Safavi sought to purify Islam in Iran by ridding it of "corrupting individuals" by means of carefully planned assassinations of certain leading intellectual and political figures. Some of its targets in the late 1940s and early 1950s included secularist author Ahmad Khazravi, former Premier Abdul Hussein Hajir, Education and Culture Minister Ahmad Zanganeh, and Prime Minister Haj Ali Razmara. Such was the group's influence and success that it was able to use its powerful clerical supporters to free its assassins from punishment. In the mid-1950s, after the consolidation of the power of the Shah, the group was suppressed and Safavi executed. The group survived as supporters of the Ayatollah Khomeini and the Islamic Revolution of Iran. Attacks by Mujahideen-e-Khalq. The People's Mujahideen of Iran is an anti-clerical Islamist guerrilla organization regarded by the Iranian, the U.S. government, and others as a terrorist organization. On 28 June 1981, bombs set by the Met killed 70 high-ranking officials of the Islamic Republic Party, including Chief Justice Mohammad Beheshti, who was the second highest official after Ayatollah Khomeini at the time. 2 years after the Islamic Revolution of Iran, the Met detonated bombs at the headquarters of the now-dissolved Islamic Republic Party. 2 months later, the Met detonated another bomb in the office of the president, killing President Rajari and Premier Mohammad Javad Baronar. Their attacks did not succeed in overthrowing the Islamic Republic of Iran government. In recent years, attacks by all thought to have been by the Mujahideen-e-Khalq include 1998 Asadollah Lajavadi assassination. 2 members of Mujahideen-e-Khalq assassinated Asadollah Lajavadi, a prosecutor and director of Evin prison, along with his brother and a bystander on 23 August 1998. 1999 assassination of Ali Sayad Shirazi on April 10, 1999, 6:45 local time. Brigadier General Ali Sayad Shirazi, Deputy Chief of Staff of the Regular Army of the Islamic Republic and a military advisor to the Supreme Leader of Iran, was assassinated outside his house as he left for work. The People's Mujahideen of Iran claimed responsibility for the assassination of Sayyid Shirazi, giving as their reason revenge for his role as commander of Iranian ground forces in Operation Mersad against the Mecca state terrorism in the 1998 chain murders. Since the founding of the Islamic Republic, dissidents in Iran have complained of unsolved murders and disappearances of intellectuals and political activists who had been critical of the Islamic Republic system in some way. In 1998, these complaints came to a head with the killing of 3 dissident writers, a political leader and his wife in the span of 2 months. In what became known as the chain murders or 1998 serial murders of Iran, of Iranians who had been critical of the Islamic Republic system in some way. Altogether, more than 80 writers, translators, poets, political activists, and ordinary citizens are thought to have been killed over the course of several years. The deputy security official of the Ministry of Information, Saeed Emami, was arrested for the killings and later committed suicide, although many believe higher-level officials were responsible for the killings. According to IranTerror.com, it was widely assumed that Emami was murdered in order to prevent the leak of sensitive information about Ministry of Intelligence and Security operations, which would have compromised the entire leadership of the Islamic Republic. Attacks by Taliban and Sunni extremists. 1994 Mashhad bombing on June 20, 1994. Explosion of a bomb in a prayer hall of Imam Reza Shrine in Mashhad that killed at least 25 people. The Iranian government officially blamed Mujahideen-e-Khalq for the incident to avoid sectarian conflict between Shias and Sunnis. However, the Pakistani daily The News International reported on March 27, 1995, Pakistani investigators have identified a 24-year-old religious fanatic Abdul Shakur residing in Lyari in Karachi as an important Pakistani associate of Ramzi Yousaf. Abdul Shakur had intimate contacts with Ramzi Ahmed Yousaf and was responsible for the June 20, 1994, massive bomb explosion at the shrine Imam Ali Reza in Mashhad, according to the Jamestown Foundation Terrorism Monitor. A report produced by the Iranian Ministry of Intelligence in October 1994 identified the culprits as operatives of Pakistan's Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, the sister organization of Sepahi Sahaba. 1998 Mazar-i-Sharif killings. On August 8, 1998, the Taliban, assisted by al-Qaeda, attacked the Afghan city of Mazar-i-Sharif, killing 11 Iranian diplomats and journalists along with thousands of Afghan civilians, in what was considered an attack motivated by takfir against Shia. More infuriating for Iran was the fact that Tehran had earlier contacted the Pakistan government to guarantee the security of their consulate, because the Iranians knew that ISI officers had driven into Mazar with the Taliban. The Iranians had thought that Dost Mohammed's unit had been sent to protect them, so had welcomed them at first. At first, the Taliban refused to admit the whereabouts of the diplomats, but then as international protests and Iranian fury increased, they admitted that the diplomats had been killed, not on official orders but by renegade Taliban. But reliable sources said that Dost Mohammed had spoken to Mullah Omar on his wireless to ask whether the diplomats should be killed, and Omar had given the go-ahead. Iran was also angry at the lack of support from Western countries, particularly America, which considered Iran an enemy. Referring to the attack, Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei alleges that neither the Americans nor the Europeans, who are now pursuing al-Qaeda agents as members of the most dangerous terror organization, showed any reaction at all. The Taliban were also thought to have secretly backed anti-regime Iranian groups, such as the Iranian Sunni militant group Ahl-e Sunnah wal Jamaat from Khorasan and Sistan provinces. The group received weapons and support from the Taliban, and Iranians were convinced that the Pakistanis were also sponsoring them. The group sought to overthrow the Shia Iranian government. Despite the fact that Iran was overwhelmingly Shia, Iran responded to the killings by putting its forces on alert and moving troops to the Afghan border, though tensions would subside. Jundallah, a Sunni Islamist Baloch insurgent organization based in Balochistan, claims to be fighting for the rights of Sunni in Iran. It is believed to have 1,000 fighters and claims to have killed 400 Iranian soldiers. The group has been identified as a terrorist organization by Iran and Pakistan, and many believe it is linked to al-Qaeda. It is also believed to receive support from the U.S. government. 2007 Zaidan bombing. A car filled with explosives stopped in front of a bus full of Revolutionary Guards in Ahmedabad district, Zaidan, Sistan Balochistan province at 6:30 a.m. on the 14th of February 2007. The car, parked in the middle of the road, forced the bus to stop. The car's driver and passengers then got out of the car and used motorbikes to leave the scene while they shot at the bus. A few seconds later the bombs exploded, killing 18 guards. Guards commander Qasim Reza A said, "This blind terrorist operation led to the martyrdom of 18 citizens of Zaidan." Reza A attributed the attack to insurgents and elements of insecurity. Majid Razavi, an Interior Ministry official, said Iranian police arrested a suspect within an hour of the bombing. Jundallah, an organization some alleged to be affiliated with al-Qaeda, claimed responsibility for the attack on the 15th of February and said it is retaliation for the executions of those accused of carrying out the Ahvaz bombings. The Iranian government has arrested 5 suspects, 2 of whom were carrying camcorders and grenades when they were arrested, while the police killed the main agent of the attack. Hossein Ali Shahiri, Zahedan's representative in parliament, rhetorically asked, "Why does our diplomatic apparatus not seriously confront the Pakistani government for harboring bandits and regime's enemies? Why do security, military and police officials not take more serious action?" 2001 attack in Tehran. MEK members fired 5 rockets at the general command of the internal security forces in Tehran, killing and injuring several. On the 7th of January 2001, MEK members fired mortar shells at several government buildings, including the Supreme Court, in Tehran on the 21st of January 2001. 2005 Ahvaz bombings. The Ahvaz bombings were a series of bomb explosions that took place mostly in Ahvaz, Iran. The bombings were linked to previous suppression of the Arab unrest in Ahvaz, occurred earlier in 2005. The first bombing came ahead of the presidential election on the 12th of June. Interior Ministry official Mohammad Hussein Motaha said at the time, 2 bombs were hidden in toilets within the building of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and at the Office of Construction and Civil Engineering. The third bomb exploded in front of the house of the governor of Khuzestan province. All 3 of these explosions were in the city center of Ahvaz. Another bomb was hidden in the doorway of the house of a state radio and television official in Ahvaz. The bomb went off when the door was opened. 2008 Shiraz bombing. A terrorist bombing inside a mosque in Shiraz in April 2008 killed 14 people including 10 men, 2 women and 2 children. More than 200 were also injured. Responsibility for the attack has not been determined. 2008 convoy bombing. According to Western news reports, at least 15 people were killed and scores wounded in a July 2008 explosion in Tehran. Initially there was a news blackout on the explosion in Iran, and Revolutionary Guards launched an investigation into the causes of the blast and the possibility that sabotage was involved. There had been a number of unexplained explosions in recent months. The convoy was reported to be carrying arms for Hezbollah when it exploded.